Hey guys, the next video I recorded a conversation between me and my 4-year-old daughter, the one with the silly face on the top right. We go over a diagram of how the project will work, and I made it in as simple of terms as possible, simple enough for her to understand. Hope you enjoy. Start recording. Okay, Rebecca, I've started recording. Now I'm going to start talking a little bit, right? Today I have my daughter Rebecca with me. Rebecca, how old are you?
4.
4? When did you turn 4?
When it was my birthday.
Nice. And do you go to school? What do you do at school?
We play at the playground and eat snack.
Oh, that's a fun thing. Okay, first I got to think of the goals that I want to do for right now. I've only got about 45 minutes, and we have some goals, okay?
Okay.
So I want to draw a diagram.
Okay. What's a diagram?
That's a great question. A diagram is something that I can look at to see how it's going to fit together. It kind of tells me how to plan. So, draw a diagram. Did I spell diagram correctly? I think I did. Okay. So, it's seeing the stuff on this screen. I've got 2 screens up. And I'm showing Rebecca, I'm explaining this. So it's seeing the stuff, the people, when I record, they're seeing the stuff that I do on this screen, and they're hearing what we say, okay? So say nice words, all right?
Okay.
You always say nice words. Don't you? Yeah, I know.
I do in microphones.
You do? Oh, good. Found it.
Ow.
Easy. We did a little fist bump. All right. Draw a diagram. Let's just start with the diagram.
Okay.
And I think I'll put it in general, notes, structure.
Is that a diagram?
Diagram?
Yeah.
This is kind of a diagram. It's a picture. Let's do it just in today's notes. Okay, so let's draw. Haven't done drawing in here in a while, but let's see. We want the API. Ooh, that's not very... Hey, don't put it that, please. Thank you. Let's just hit undo. Delete. There we go. Shapes. Let's do a shape. Much better. We want the API.
Is that like a circle? Is it back like a circle?
Yep, that's like a circle.
Ooh,
And
we're
then-
talking about circles.
In
Actually, we're
school?
talking. No. A's.
Where do you talk about circles?
We're talking about A's.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I gotta figure out. So I want the API. Do you know what API stands for?
Huh.
I'm guessing Application Protocol Interface? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. That's a good question. I probably shouldn't have asked you what I didn't know myself, huh?
Okay. You're a funny dad.
You're a funny daughter. Application Program Interface. Okay. Application Program Interface. But, so basically what the API is the API lets me know how to talk. So it's kind of like, the API is kind of like your mouth and your ears. So, the API lets me go back and forth so I can talk from one computer to another computer, and they can say, hello, how are you doing? And the other one says, I'm fine, what's your name? And the first one says, I'm Fred. So they talk back and forth. And the API is kind of the way that I do that. And in this context, I'm doing it a little bit more, where it can talk to things that will save data. It can talk to the database, and it can store things about people. So like if I say, hey, I already did that job, then you tell the API, and the API goes and tells the database. So let's do this. The API needs to talk to the database.
Do you hear the API talk to the database?
No, I don't hear the API talk to the database. What I do is I code it. I make code, and then I send the code to the API. All right. Well, I don't know. How do I describe this? This is a great exercise for me because I need to figure out how to describe things simply. I make it so that, and then I test it, and so I try and get them to talk together. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And so one of the things I do to help is I write tests so that it says, hey, if you get this information, how are you going to act? And I know how I want it to act in my tests, and I take those tests and I code from the tests, and I expect it to do something. I expect it to go touch something and tell it, hey, it's like tapping the database on the shoulder, tapping it on the shoulder and say, hey, database, you need to make sure that this person did this job, and you remember, okay? And then the database says, got it. And then the API says to the front end, which is like your web browser, or maybe it's on your phone, and it says, hey, you got that job done. Why are you laughing?
Because you said it. The API can make your ears and eyes talk.
I'm sorry. Okay. I gotta focus. Because I want to try and get things done good, alright? So the API will talk to the database. It'll also talk to, let's draw another arrow, to, oh, whoops. Don't bump me, please. Don't bump me on purpose.
There's an accident.
Let's move you here. Let's move you here. Let's move you.
Why are you talking to them?
We all have. Why am I talking? I just kind of ramble. Maybe I'm silly.
Hey, you are silly, Dad.
You're silly. You're a silly daughter.
And why is that thing there?
Because I looked up what API meant. Because I had asked you and I didn't really know how to know the correct words for it off the top of my head.
You didn't know? You're a Dad. There's no everything.
That's right. Tell yourself that. I don't know everything, silly. I just know the things that I know.
You know calves eat milk.
I do know calves eat milk.
Because they're babies.
Yep. You know what else eats milk?
What?
I was asking you. Do you know what else?
No.
Do you eat milk?
No. Yes.
Or do you drink it?
Drink it.
I tricked you. Not really.
Because I know I drink milk.
I drink milk too. It's yummy.
Yep.
Okay,
But old milk is yucky.
Old milk? Yeah, it goes bad.
Yeah, it can kill you and make you sick.
Oh, that's intense. Okay, so the API also talks to the client. Let's say web client for a web interface, and mobile client. Mobile client. Let's say Android client. Android. Instead of client, we should probably say app. And then, hey, cool it, Missy.
I never because you said a web in your face.
What? Hey, easy.
I keep tooting.
Hey, stop tooting, Missy. Hey.
I'm a tutor.
Little Miss Tutor Pants. Hey, settle down. You're being too silly, okay? Hey, what did you do at school today?
We learned about A's, and we
Learned about A's?
played. Yeah, and we also played outside and got a drink, and also washed our hands, and
What did you learn about A's? Do you remember? Did you learn how to write them?
yeah.
Yeah.
But we drew black ones and circle ones too.
Nice.
And we also, and I also, first, today I washed the table with a wipe. That's my job in school.
Good job. You washed the table with a wipe. I'm glad to hear you're helping.
I keep hiccuping!
Oh, you keep hiccuping? That's okay. Is that your brother crying?
Yep.
Think he's alright?
Yeah.
He's probably alright. Okay, so let me explain a little bit
When
more.
are we gonna speak in it?
What?
When are we gonna speak into microphone?
Right now, the microphone's listening, Missy.
No, and when is it gonna say the same thing it's said?
Oh, careful, please. Don't do that, okay? Easy, princess. Okay, so the API application program interface, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So the so it's going to talk to the database. It's going to be a web client. We've got an Android app and an iOS app. Okay, so the API is going to be done in Nest.js.
I keep coming.
Nest.js. I'm going to try and I think it's is it like that? I don't remember. I'm going to first. I've got it working so well. The code base that I started, just the simple one already, is just one server that you start. And so it'll start with just a server, but then I'll break it out into microservices. Nest.js has some functionality to use microservices. I've talked to a lady at the Azure cloud, actually. She reached out to me from Microsoft, and they might be able to get some, because of the nature of the project, might be able to get some servers, I don't know, or a good deal on servers. We'll see how that goes. But the web client, easy. Hey, don't be screaming. I'm going to, so I've started a client that is using handlebars and Gulp to build just a web client, and then the interaction here will just be Ajax. Android app, I'll probably, at work we use, hey, come here, princess, come here. Hey, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
What do you think the favor is?
I don't know.
I do.
But
Will you be quiet?
okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm gonna go potty.
Oh, we better hurry then. Go potty.
And then I'm gonna go back to speaking the microphone.
That sounds like a great idea. So it'll just be Ajax requests that back and forth to the API, which will be microservices. Eventually, I'm probably not going to focus on that. I'll get it up and running first. One of the things that I personally need to work on is it's fun to get like a product that is really cool and does a ton of stuff, but you can spend a lot of time getting it just right. While it would probably be better use of your time to get it working well, like get it working. Once it's working, and then upgrade it to do the cool things. So I probably won't do the microservices at first because I'm not as familiar with. Well, I don't know the setup on Nest.js. Maybe it won't be that bad. I don't know. Maybe I'll do those. But I'll just focus on getting them working. Eventually, okay. But that won't be the focus at first. Let's see. As I was saying, the web client will be handlebars with Gulp and handlebars /less. So handlebars, what it is a templating engine. So it lets you take your HTML, hypertext markup language, whatever it's called, that is run in the browser, and lets you basically use variables and do some JavaScript stuff in there, built into the HTML to make it more manageable. Hey! Don't touch! Come over here. Tell me what you want to say. Remember, we don't want to touch these things because that makes noise.
I love my family and they love me, and I hope they have a great time at school and me, And I love them so much.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Now be good, all right?
Okay.
Don't be a stinker bum.
Okay. My butt still hurts though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I fell on it.
Did you fall at school?
No.
Did you?
But I did on the wood chips. But I didn't cry.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't cry. But even if you cry, it's okay.
And
So, Handlebars is basically a templating engine. I'm explaining some things, okay, hon? Hey, Phoebe, will you give me a little bit of time while you're quiet? Thank you. So, Handlebars is the templating engine. Again, it'll let me inject like some of the JavaScript variables and stuff like that. When you're making a list, it makes it a ton easier to create the HTML for that page. Less is just I'm going to say this incorrectly because I don't remember the right terminology, but basically less takes your CSS. So HTML is what is shown on the page. Just in rule of thumb, HTML shows stuff on the page. CSS decides how that stuff is shown, so it gives it style. And less is a compiled version of CSS. I forget. It basically takes your CSS and it compiles it. Makes it so that you can do like some cool functions and stuff like that. That makes life a little bit more pleasant in making CSS. Gulp is just it's a JavaScript library, framework library. I don't know. It's a JavaScript library that runs through. It'll run through my handlebar template files and my less files, and it'll compile those into HTML and CSS files that I can upload. And then in those files, I'll also have some scripts that connect to the database or connect to the API. Android, that'll probably be, so at work we use Xamarin, which is it runs on the Mono platform. It was Xamarin was recently acquired by Microsoft, but it's a really good. I've really liked it. It's in C#, which typically Android has always been in Java, and iOS has always been in either like Objective-C, which is one of the Apple. I don't know if it's. I think it's Apple's language. Anyways, it's a older language that Apple's used for a long time. Or Swift is a new one that Apple has used, but and typically you run those in their own environments. But Xamarin lets you use some code that's shared across it. I haven't made plans yet for how I want to do the apps yet. Probably the easiest or the quickest will be, hey, child, don't be breaking things. Do you want me to help you with that? I'll blow it up for you. She's blowing up a monkey. It's a balloon monkey thing. Anyways, so probably to get started, I'll do just a built-in. Sorry, one sec. Built-in. I don't know. I won't even make plans for that. Might go Xamarin, might do native. Don't know yet. Again, this is Nest.js for the database. I'll be using Mongo. MongoDB. Mongoose is a framework, a library that lets you access MongoDB in JavaScript a little easier. So I'll be using the MongoDB with Mongoose.js to help me. And so there's going to be in my Nest.js application, I've already started with like DTO, data transfer objects. Those are objects that I can. So when the user creates a student or something like that, when somebody's on the computer and they go to the website and they create a student, it'll require them to fill out a form with like the information that I need to create a student, and then that'll create a data transfer object. It'll transfer an object through in JSON form to my API. My API will use that data transfer object and report it to the database. The database will be able to store it in an actual model. Or a schema, or I forget the correct terminologies. So that covers that's just a very, very high level of what the roadmap is. And I think that might cover for all I'm going to do right now. Let's pull up in the code. Okay. So I remember talking about wanting to have test-driven development. That, as I was mentioning, that this API, it's very, it should be very upfront on what I want to have happen. So like, for example, if I go into my students, my get ID, if I want to get a student, it should always get a student. Now if I send it, in my tests, for my test cases, to get good coverage, what I would do is I would send an ID that doesn't exist and see what happens. I would send an ID that exists, make sure it comes back correctly. I'd send null and just nothing and see if it handles it well or if it crashes. And the main thing is you want to make sure you're always returning back valid responses and that you don't actually have some kind of crash. What can take down a server is you'll have some kind of unhandled case that you weren't thinking about, and it'll cause the code to not. It'll cause your code to crash. It'll throw an exception that I don't handle or something like that, and that can potentially take down a server. And those are things that we always want to be aware of and be extra careful with. So let's go back to my OneNote, draw a diagram, check. I'm going to, let's not end there, let's make sure we put this in the README. So let's see, what's going to be a good way to do this? Ajax, these will probably be REST requests. So one thing that GraphQL also handles is Nest.js also handles is GraphQL requests. I don't know if that's GraphQL is another it's another way of communicating protocol. From what I understand, I've just done some brief looking into it. I haven't done a ton of looking into it, but the people that I've talked to that have used it are basically in love with it. And Nest.js also handles that, and so that's a really good, or that's kind of exciting to see. And one of the things that throughout the project I might take some time in is investigating exactly the benefits of GraphQL and seeing if it will help this project out, and if I can leverage it in some way to gain some benefit. And then let's see, Windows Defender. I have not been. I think I mentioned this in the my long podcast thing, whatever, the videoing of myself recording while I wasn't, that I haven't put up. I recorded on last Saturday. Whenever I put up that last video, before that video I recorded a bunch of different, I recorded myself basically going through the different steps of making this, and I was just talking throughout and giving my thoughts, and probably is not that entertaining to watch, and that's why one of the reasons why I haven't recorded it or I haven't posted it. Also, I did some. I ended up creating some passwords and stuff like that, and so stuff that probably should. I figured I better spend some time figuring out how to do some video editing, something I've never done. So video editing is one of those things that I probably will have to get my feet wet with through this process, because I have not done any type of video editing before. Right now I'm just using OBS, I think that's what it's called, and it's just doing a screen recording. and I've got a microphone. So let's, I've got to take my girls to karate, so that's it for today. Hopefully that wasn't too long, I kind of rambled, but we'll get better as we go.